All right, we should talk about this restraining order while we're on Twitter. Let's do a search for Rekieta law, because this dropped a couple hours ago. First of all, Rekieta is looking for a video editor or a clipper or a logger. I'll give $1,000 to the first person to give me a video compilation of one public mention of me per day by any Imholte. You mean Aaron Imholte? Since April 11th, 2024. I disclaim and condemn any comments or chats to any Imholtes on any social media platform. What an epiphany. So he has a picture here where he shows paperwork filed in the District Court, State of Minnesota, yesterday, the 26th of June, 2025. Aaron Michael Imholte versus Nicholas Robert Rekieta, ex parte order granting petition for harassment restraining order. Based upon a petitioner's affidavit and petition for harassment restraining order, yada, yada, yada. So what this means is a restraining order has been issued for Nick by Aaron. And to everyone who doesn't understand this and thinks that this means Nick can't talk about Aaron, and that's rich because Aaron's the one who never shuts up about Nick, that isn't what this is. This is an old-fashioned, traditional restraining order. I've been given the details of this. It bars Nick from going 1,000 feet near Aaron Imholte or his home, and from contacting Aaron Imholte. Now, Nick has told me he has not contacted Aaron Imholte since April 11th, 2024. That's over a year ago. That's 12 months ago. Okay, people in the chat are still confused. You don't understand this at all. It has been granted. This has been granted. This exists now. This is a thing. And I'm going to explain to you all the details that I know, and you'll get all your questions answered. Nick has 20 days to fight this or to challenge it. So I imagine he will be doing that. But this does not mean that this is not similar to the HROs that Ashley LaRue has against Aaron, or that court order that Kayla has against Aaron. Aaron cannot mention these people or talk about these people or anything. That is not what this is. If that were the case, then even posting a picture, a screenshot of this would be a violation. So Nick can talk about Aaron all he wants. This is not to try to get Aaron to shut up. That's not what this is at all. This is asking Nick, this is telling Nick he cannot go within 1,000 feet of Aaron Imholte. And I understand the confusion. You're going, what the fuck? Has Nick been stalking Aaron? Has Nick been going to Aaron's house? I asked Nick this. I go, why would they give you this if you haven't done anything to Aaron? Why would they give you this? And again, Nick reiterated to me he doesn't stalk Aaron or go near Aaron, and he has not contacted Aaron since April 11th, 2024. And if you remember, that was the night, I guess, he sent Aaron a text that said, kill yourself. If the shows are to be believed. Now, why? Why is Aaron... By the way, this is the day after a giant thing happened. He's got a lot on his mind. His trial's not over. His case isn't over. He's sentencing is pushed down the road. He just got out of jail. He's supposed to be putting all the past behind him, and he's running around the day after that getting a restraining order on Nick. Does this sound like a guy who's going to let this go? Does it sound like a guy who's got his mind in the right place, focused on his family and his children and his loved ones and his support system and the things that are important to him? No. This sounds like a guy who's out for vengeance. He's thinking about his feuds and rivalries, which he said he wasn't going to do anymore. This is what he did the day after he got out of jail. He ran down to get a restraining order on Nick, a guy who doesn't stalk him or go near him anyway. So if Nick let this stay, it would have no effect because Aaron doesn't get bothered by Nick. Hold on, we got this. Moody says Nick contacted Aaron in November to taunt him about eating cum off of April via super chat. But apart from that, I don't think Nick has done anything publicly. I think Aaron has talked to Nick through the camera multiple times since then. That's a good point. A judge would look at that as contact. But still, that was in November. So there's no reason for Aaron to be creeped out or feel like he's being stalked or anything like this. There's nothing excessive unless Nick's lying. That would mean that Nick is bothering Aaron, harassing Aaron, stalking Aaron. Can I tell you why Aaron went and got this? And I only know this because I talked to Nick and he didn't tell me I can't say it. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to say. Aaron, in this document, has alleged that the reason we went to see Coach Scott and the reason we went to Stoney's was because we thought he was there. Now, Aaron was on the air when we started heading down to the gym, pretty much. He was signing off, but the gym was closing. We purposefully waited for the gym to be closing to go down there. The parking lot was empty. There was no chance Aaron was there. This is the night before his big case. He wasn't finishing up his night show and then going down to the gym. Nick came to the gym because I wanted to go to the gym. I wanted to go talk to Coach Scott. So Nick tagged along. That's a fact, Jack. When we went to Stoney's, Aaron was in jail. There wasn't a chance that Aaron was at Stoney's. First of all, in case you're not following, Aaron don't go to Stoney's. Aaron don't hang out at Stoney's. This is a 30-minute drive away from the town Aaron lives in. It's all the way through the sticks. Aaron uses Stoney's and Cheetos like he uses Johnny Crutches. It's not personal, it's professional. It's not personal, it is professional. 100%. He runs events there, and that's about it. So I imagine Nick will have no problem fighting this at all because the only two places Nick went that are Aaron's haunts, he can prove he didn't do it because he thought Aaron would be there and he was looking for Aaron. Now, so basically this makes Aaron look like a total bitch. He ran to court and said, this guy's after me. This guy's trying to hurt me. And I just don't, as mad as Nick is, I don't think he's in that frame of mind all weekend long. As a matter of fact, he's never mentioned once to me that he wants to harm Aaron. He wants Aaron dead, but he don't want to do it by his hand. And I'm pretty sure, well, I should shut my mouth. I shouldn't say confidential stuff. But I have a very, very good reason to believe that Nick will not be involved in hurting or killing or hunting down Aaron in any way. You'll just have to take my word for it. Again, what was not going to jail for? You know, if all he wanted to do was stay out of jail to keep his family intact and restore his life to the balance that it had before, what good would going out and killing Aaron and going to prison for that do? So I mean, that's just stupid. That's just retarded. So a lot of people I see in the chat saying, why didn't he get one against you? He may have. He may have. An interstate restraining order would take a little more time. Nick obviously received this today. And, it's Friday evening here in Las Vegas. So I imagine if he did file one against me, I probably won't get it until Monday, I would imagine, Tuesday. But again, it'll be horse shit because no one's ever threatened Aaron. Aaron has, in fact, threatened other people. Aaron never stops talking about what he would do to us if he saw us, both of us. I'd break him like a twig. I'd fucking kill those. He has said I would kill those guys. He has used those words. There's nobody in their right mind who thinks I took 10 people over to Stoney's to get a drink hunting to fight Aaron. There's nobody in their right mind who thinks I went down to the gym to fight Aaron. There's nobody in their right mind who thinks I went to Wapakata Golf Club to try to fight Aaron. I have every right to take a trip and to question individuals involved in what I consider a news story. Local radio man can't stop lying. And I have every right to travel on my own in an unthreatening way and question the counterparties to Aaron's lies. There ain't nothing he can do about that. I live states away. I came to a hearing and I'm allowed to fucking go ask people questions. I have never once threatened Aaron. I have never once expressed violence towards Aaron. And to the contrary, this guy has threatened to box me twice. He has said what would happen if we ever came face to face and we ever met, how he would destroy me, how he would beat me. And again, I think he has used the words, I would kill him. I would kill him. So any sort of restraining order from Aaron Imholte will be laughed at and immediately dismissed. I can guarantee that. I hope he spent money on that. It'll be very, very funny to have to deal with that if it shows up. I mean, just keep handing me more content, stupid. Keep handing me more content. Furthermore, any sort of restraining order he would get against me talking about him would be laughed out of the court as well, since this is a guy who has called me a pedophile since July of last year on multiple occasions. Almost daily, but not daily. And I've been doing the groundwork all along to have that chronicled and cataloged so I can bring that straight to a judge and go, here's a list of times.
Someone is about to learn just how shitty of a lawyer I am.
Okay. Calm down, Nick. Calm down, Nick. Nick, if you want to call in to prove you can talk about this, please do. 702-749-4656. 702-749-4656. If you want to shed some light on this, if I'm getting into the details wrong. But this is insane. This is insane. And I'll just say this. Aaron's about to have a world of hurt. Aaron can go down and make himself feel better the day after he gets jailed for violating an order that was made very clear to him that he chose to violate. He can do that and try to make himself feel better. I'm telling you right now, Aaron, you're about to get hurt a lot. There is a world of shit coming your way that you have no concept of. That's all I'm going to say. Strap the fuck in. You might want to ask Todd Peterson if he'll give you some sort of a group deal. You might want to ask for one of those punch cards to handle your legal issues. Because I think you're about to get double fucked, if you know what I mean.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
No matter what the odds are this time, nothing's going to stand in my way. This flame in my heart and a long-lost friend gives every dark street a light at the end.
Standing tall, on the wings of my dream, rise and fall on the wings of my dream.
What is that? Perfect Strangers? Standing tall on the wings of my dreams. Balky Bartakamus. Shardy McDennis, the whispering to himself is the case study. A lot of people don't know this. Family Matters was a spinoff. Or wait, was it Family Matters? Yeah. Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers, right? People don't know that. The wife, Laura's mom, worked at the newspaper office where Larry worked, I think. Something like that.
Hey, Big Sauce, you are getting a HRO too. Seeth and cope, you little onion bitches. Another win for the motherfucking toe.
I'm not even going to lie. If you serve me a thing that says I can't go near you, I'm probably just going to rip it up and laugh. I mean, do I want to go back to Minnesota? I don't. Anyway, we're all not 100. Shut up. I know things.
You can count on me no matter what you do. You can count on me no matter where you go.
I'm standing by your side. I'll be right behind.
No one loves you more than I do. Put your hand in mine.
You can count on me no matter what you do. You can count on me no matter where you go.
That one
You can count on me.
I don't know that one. What is that from? Is this turning into TV theme song quizzes? WKRP in Cincinnati. See, I'm not that old. Seeds a day. Nick and Kayla, the aggressors judge. I'm victim. Dismiss me. Yeah, that is what this feels like. Is on Wednesday, Aaron got hurt by Nick and Kayla, and this was the only way he could strike back at them. And the thing is, if you lie to get a restraining order, that is a crime. And there's no possible way you can argue that Nick went to Stoney's looking for you. You were in jail. Everyone knew you were in jail. Aaron, we were parked right beside your car when we headed out to Stoney's. We knew where you were. If Nick was looking to fight you, he'd just wait by your fucking car. And by the way, the only reason he was sitting in a car by your car is because I invited him over to get in because of the rain. Thank you to Juju for letting us sit in her car. No one was after Aaron Imholte. It is a fucking crime to lie to the police. It is a lie. I mean, this guy can't stop. Again, he's letting his emotions and his aggression. This is exactly what Coach Scott talked about. He's letting his emotions cause him to act in a way that could inflict harm on him. This is a crime to lie to the police about the reason you're getting a restraining order, but you couldn't stop yourself. You had to go down to that station the next day and be like, they're after me. Everyone's after me. Sounds like Chad, right? Everyone's after me. Everyone's trying to get me. No. We're just laughing at your carpetless fucking hideout. You sad, sad man. A normal person would move on like they said they were going to move on, but you couldn't do it. You had to go be again, that day you were the victim, and the next day you were going to be the bully, right? You cry bully bitch. I mean, it's insane. Laziest man on Mars. Aaron is insane and capable of murder. He's not.
You either die a hero or see yourself root for the law tube guy who made his wife a coke whore. It's a terrible world.
Those are the only two choices.
Aaron's lawyer is so worthless I wouldn't PISS up his ASS if his guts were on fire.
I doubt that Aaron even consulted his lawyer before he went down to the station and filed this. And again, it shows you where his frame of mind is. The day after this, when he said, I won't talk about this anymore, I'm done with it, I got to bury the past. Right after his show, he went down to the police station and filed a restraining order against Nick. That's where his head is. He's still Kiwi farmed up. His head is still in the clouds. Just desperate. to try to hurt Nick still. And he's never going to get his own stuff taken care of. He's never going to get his life back on track if he can't control his fucking emotions. This is exactly what Coach God said. He doesn't listen, and he's fucking an emotional woman. Hey, SP wants to go to lunch. Sorry, I'm going down to file a restraining order on Nick because he went to a bar that I've been to but never go to while I was in jail. I imagine that was a nice comfort-free time for both Nick and Kayla because they can move around the city unencumbered without the ever-growing fear. You know, the fear they must have everywhere they go. They have to wonder, are we going to run into Aaron? So this was a time they could go to a bar and know for a fact they weren't going to run into Aaron. Hi, Nick.
Hey, man, what's up?
I'm correct, right? You guys probably, every time you go out in St. Cloud, you probably think to yourselves, like, I hope we don't fucking run into Aaron.
We literally check to make sure he's not there. One, he has a he has a physical proximity restraining order, against, Kayla has one against him through the court. So, we don't want to go into a place and force him to leave, as funny as that would be or anything. So we look, we check for his car just to make sure that we're not interfering with so that we're not interfering with him and his kids or something like that. Plus, we don't want to see him ever.
Yeah, you're not. There are people who have restraining orders against people, and they do the thing where they try to go to the place where the guy is to make him have to leave. I don't think you do that.
No. Literally, I don't want to see this person ever in my life. I have no problem not being around Aaron, but Aaron seems to want to do this for the purpose of having me, quote, violate and then be arrested, and then of course have that be affecting my probation, right? Like that's the thing. If I have contact with law enforcement, it can be complicate my probation stuff.
So am I correct from just inferring from your messages? He's accusing you the reason that you went to the gym and Stoney's was to seek him out.
He didn't. So his accusation is very vague. It just says, and I'll read the exact words. Here's what he checked off on the thing. That I followed, monitored, or pursued the petitioner, which is insane. I wasn't even at the window looking to see him come in. Kayla and I were in a separate room. Made uninvited visits to the petitioner. I have never visited him uninvited, ever.
Yeah, I can say this. When you guys came upstairs on the elevator, and I assume you assume he had to come in the same way, there were 10 people out there at least, pretty much, for whatever you want to say, on your side or whatever it is, but you guys didn't hang out. You wanted to go into the confines of that room where you wouldn't have to see him or deal with him coming in. Yeah, correct. Kayla doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to see him at all. It's very, very stressful. He's been a monster to her for well over a year now. And the thought of interacting with him, brings her tons of anxiety. So I got her immediately into the conference room that the victim advocate had told us to go to. So that's what we did. I didn't sit and laugh or get his attention. I didn't do any of that stuff. So it's nonsense. And you were allowed to do that at the time. You could have sat out there and intimidated him in the common area with the rest of us, and you did not do that. Of course. And I have not been to Aaron's home since he last invited me to his home. That was the last time I went there. In fact, I had talked about a long time ago when April went to go get her stuff, I was unable to go help her. So she was helped by a different friend in the area to get the last remaining stuff from the house as she was, as their marriage was ending. So I didn't even go do that. I have not been to his house since, I think it's like April 8th of last year when he invited me to come and watch like a football game with him or something like that. So he also says that I made harassing phone calls or sent harassing text messages to the petitioner,
which I have not done. He is claiming that the last text message, which he has bragged about 1,000 times on his show, where I said the world would be better if you killed yourself. I did say that. That was on April 11th of last year. And he proudly said, I just said, okay, addict, and banned him. And that's how you did, and blocked him. And that's how you deal with those people. That's fine. I've never attempted to contact him since.
Yeah, except for that Moody pointed out you did do the super chat about him eating cum. But other than that.
I did, but I wasn't trying to contact him. I was telling the audience. Oh, wait, I did say you looked, but he didn't put that in here. That I did say
right,
that he
I'm just
looked,
saying, just to be fair, that's the last time that you contacted 100%. Him directly.
I have done nothing that breaches any bounds of civility.
What are the
context?
What are the repercussions, if you're aware, for, I mean, this, if you lie on a police report to get a restraining order?
So it's hard to prove that, although I'm going to try. The repercussions that I'm going to ask for, and I don't care if he knows this or not, the repercussions I'm going to ask for is I'm going to, ask the court to make him pay for what I had to do to defend this obviously frivolous restraining order. I mean, this man has spoken about me nearly every day for 443 days. And to have the temerity to request a restraining order over mild engagement on Twitter and stuff like that. I've never suggested that I would go hurt Aaron. I've never threatened him. He has said he would kill me. He has said that he would, just beat me so senselessly that it would be ridiculous. He challenged me to a fight, a sanctioned fight, which I accepted. And then he said, I can't fight you. I'll literally kill you because his hands are lethal weapons or whatever.
He has said that many times. He's gone on these little fantasy, thought exercises about what he would do to both of us if he fought us. And I'm going to
find the one where he talks about raping me anally and measuring how deep my anus is on his penis. That's the clip that I'm going to find. And I'm going to play that in court along with a whole lot more. And then I'm going to ask the judge to make it right by having Aaron pay for the people that I had to employ to put this together very quickly.
I don't even know how you would accurately do that. Does he have tattoos of like inch or millimeter marks on his penis? And then you got to make sure it's the same amount of turgid that it was when you got the tattoo. Or do you measure it like an oil dipstick? Do you pull it out and then just...
Yes, that one. He literally said he would measure how far the shit went up his penis.
Got it. Okay.
Fucking weird.
Got it.
He's so gross. But these are all things that he has said. The only thing that I have said is if you get into a ring with 5 people in a row, you're going to you might die because your body will give out. Like, even if you win, it's like, what are you talking about? You can't just fight 5 people in a row. You're not some legendary boxer, and even they will get eventually rocked.
Well, yeah, I assume I have one of these coming. I would imagine he's down possible. There. He's down there filling out the paperwork. Why not get both of us?
So he also requested a protective order on behalf of his children against me. That was denied by the court. So apparently I could text his kids or whatever. It'd be fine. Which I don't have a way to communicate with his kids, to be very clear. Like, I don't want to, obviously. My kids, miss hanging out with them. But other than that, I don't have any
you're saying
reason to.
He filed for a restraining order against his children yesterday along with this?
Yes. He asked for protection for both himself and his, wait. He asked for himself and his minor children, but the judge only granted the ex parte order on his behalf.
Wow.
Which I have, of course, never contacted his children. I have said hi to them when I was, at their house. or whatever, and they happened to be there, or when they came to my house. But I don't have any way to contact
That's
their children.
odd,
Never
because
would.
last year he said that I sexually assaulted his daughter, and he didn't even get one of those against me.
Yeah. He said I frightened petitioner with threatening behavior. I remember how many times Aaron has said he's not scared of me, and he's about to be reminded of that.
Now, what's the
he also
process?
said
What you said you had 20 days to fight this. What's the process for fighting this?
So you have a lot longer, but to do it quickly, you do it within 20 days. So if you request within 20 days a hearing on this and challenge it, request to vacate it, they have to give you a hearing. It's within either 5 or 7 days. I have to review the rule to get the actual thing. But so once I request it, I would have a hearing within a week. And then, Aaron and I would show up, and then it would be his burden to prove initially that there's a reasonable basis for this. The judge at that point will actually ask Aaron questions about what's in the ex parte order. When you file for an ex parte order, they just read your document and they go, okay, yeah, whatever. And they tend to err on the side of the petitioner because, someone might try and kill them, and they don't want anybody dead. But when we go into the courtroom, he'll have to go first and prove that there's a reasonable basis at all. And then I will get to, respond to that.
Well, if
he makes a sufficient basis for the restraining order, I would respond countering, whatever he said.
Well, if you're still looking for somebody to log all those instances for you, I have a great person who's been doing it for me. I can reach out, put you in touch.
I have gotten an offer from someone who said they will have the video made tomorrow. It'll be done tomorrow.
They must be having AI do it.
Either that, or I don't know if they have like an existing stockpile of stuff. I won't say who it is at this point. Like if they want to say it, I don't care. But I'm not going to out who it is. I have other projects in the works as well. I'm not going to court unloaded. I'm going to unload in court with, of course, documents and evidence before that's taken out of any sort of context. But Aaron seems to have done the self-help form on this. So this does not look like the work of Todd Peterson, which, if Aaron has never argued a harassment restraining order in court, I have. Multiple times.
So have I.
And all he got was that I shall have no direct or indirect contact with petitioner. There is nothing that says that I cannot talk about him, although I am, of course, not going to talk about him. I don't want anything misconstrued. Just in the meanwhile, as soon as this is done, I will speak very candidly about what happened. But I don't really talk about Aaron that often. I will go on other shows, of course, and talk about something. If I'm invited on.
If you compare what he's talked about with you compared to what you've talked about of him, you didn't stream for almost a year, so.
Yeah, it's not even close. And so he's about to learn what it's like to go in and actually have to answer for what you say. And he knows that he's done all this. This is all his actions. And if he thinks he can somehow keep video clips and evidence of his own statements out of court, he's wrong.
Well, the prosecutor and the judge,
no objection.
The prosecutor and the judge for Kayla's case might also find this interesting, because
they definitely will.
This feels like retaliation.
So one of the things he reported, this is the funniest thing. Real quick, because I see this. Quadro Derelict says hearsay. There is no hearsay objection to a party statement against their interest. Aaron is a party. He's the petitioner. Any statement that Aaron has made out of court is an exception to the hearsay rule if it is against his interests. He cannot keep his own words out of court. It won't work. You can't make a hearsay objection on it. And if he tries, I'll bury him in the argument. But to be very clear, Aaron has accused me of asking multiple people to make police reports against him, which there are two problems with that. One, I have not asked people to make police reports. On your show after the court hearing, I said what was relayed to me, that if people are making reports, it is helpful to have a timestamp and a date, and perhaps a link to the original stream, so that they don't have to go through hours and hours of video, right? They can just see the clip. I didn't ask people to submit those. People are submitting those. That's not my request. I have never asked people to do that. However, if I had police reports, as long as they are not false, knowingly false, are absolutely valid and they're absolutely privileged. And he cannot put a prior restraint on my speech to do that. So the judge, the judge must have considered that, but they didn't make any comment about it or anything like that.
Is there something in the law that allows I imagine if you guys go in there and argue this and she finds for you, or she finds that, he said he followed you or something like that, like, I imagine she just revokes the restraining order. But is there some pathway in the law that allows for him to be charged with something for filing this false report?
I mean, making a false statement on a report under oath to the court is a contempt of court or a perjury charge. Potentially. Will they charge it? It's unlikely. That they usually don't. They usually go, oh, this person's just retarded, and then they just say, no, dismissed, and they don't want to do a charge. I mean, but this person has a restraining order. He has another restraint. He has the one from Kayla. He has experience with Ashley's restraining order. He has violated both of those. He has experience with restraining orders. He knows the bounds of them. He knows what their purpose is. And he is abusing that purpose to the court's face. And I will be pointing that out, of course.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, fuck. I don't even... When did you get this?
Today. Yeah, the
afternoon.
The sheriff. It was afternoon. It was not long before I tweeted it. I think it was after hours at the sheriff's office. I think I was there at like 5:10 or something like that.
Yeah, I imagine I'm getting something similar because he just seems angry, and that's it. Again, it shows his frame of mind. The guy who's pretending he's putting all this behind him and moving on to what's important, and he had an epiphany, but somehow that epiphany has manifested itself in this aggressive, like you said, frivolous charge of trying to get a restraining order on you. This is a guy who's talked about you, like you said, almost every day for a year or more.
This person accuses me of criminal actions in an attempt to get my probation violated almost daily. He says that I give my daughter cocaine. He says that I store drugs and alcohol at April's house. These things would be criminal acts for me to do. I don't do any of them. I have been very much a good boy since my sentencing, and so for him to have the audacity to say that just from that alone is insane. And the fact that he keeps doing it, Aaron, that's all. I can't address him, so I'm not going to do that. He will learn at some point that is not an acceptable way to do things, especially because he has said that he doesn't believe it himself. So not the best move there. But I wasn't even sure if I was going to sue him for defamation or anything like that. But obviously some of that is going to have to come into the argument on this thing.
Yeah, he seems to have this belief that
Google hacking, of course.
I think because he's had so much experience receiving court orders telling him he can't say stuff or contact people, he thinks that he can do that to other people. And he also thinks that he's untouchable. Like, because he's gotten away, he managed somehow to convince Ashley LaRue to let this go. He thought this was over up until Wednesday with Kayla. He seems to think he's like an untouchable guy, and he doesn't understand that because he goes live 9 times a week or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I mean, he's compounding evidence against himself every time he does a show.
And he cannot not discuss it. So, to be very clear and to reiterate for anybody out there listening, I have said that I immediately disclaim and I do not request anyone to contact him. I never have done that. I have never asked anyone to interfere with his life, and all that stuff remains the same now. I have no desire, nor have I had any desire to contact him in well over a year. I do not want to speak to him. I do not want to address him. I talk about him on occasion on Twitter. And a lot of it is responsive to things that he has said about me. And I will be bringing all of these things into court to properly discuss this under the procedure set in Minnesota. I have no interest in talking to him or being near him or anything else, and I haven't ever done that. So
I can 100%. I can 100% vouch. You know, you and I are probably the two people he hates on earth the most at this moment, and I've never once heard you express any want or will for vengeance. You've never said, I wish I could go over there, or I want to find him, or you've never said that. You've never said anything like that. So
no, because the only thing that I would really like is if he would stop talking about Kayla and he would just follow his court orders. That would be great. Like that's all I care about. And I have never tried to restrict or impede his speech about me. I'm a public person. You know, people get to talk about me a lot more, but Kayla is not. She's a private person. She has not really, I don't know that she's posted anything on the internet since like 2002. She's made every effort to stay away from it. And yet,
2022, you mean?
Dragging her back. Yeah, 2022. My bad.
Yep.
Thank you for correcting that.
No, I just want to clarify. Yeah, all right. I mean, this just got interesting. What I find crazy is that he was down there doing it the day after he got out of jail. Like, it's like,
right.
Tell me your head's not on straight without telling me your head's not on straight. Your mind frame, your mindset is not focused on what you say it's focused on. All the good things in your life, all the positivity, all the support, your family, your kids. You're not thinking about them at all. You're thinking about, how can I get to Nick? How can I hurt Nick? And that seems sick to me.
So he claims this. He has appeared on numerous live streams on YouTube on his own channel, Rekieta Law on YouTube, and on other people's channels. And he specifically says NLO on YouTube 62525, and encouraged people to report me to law enforcement. And then he said he has gathered people in public places to harass or intimidate me, which I, of course, have never done.
Right.
In any way.
It was my idea to go to the gym. It was my idea to go to Stoney's. Like, what are you talking about, Aaron?
He's not allowed at that gym. As far as I can tell, Save Sport has not, reinstated him. And even, I believe that I heard Scott intimate that he is currently not allowed to be there.
No, I think you misunderstood that. He is allowed at the gym.
Maybe I did.
What Scott told me, and maybe you were talking to Jonathan Geyer, maybe while he said this, but Aaron's not allowed there while any official boxing classes or coaching or USA Boxing membership events are happening. When he comes in, he is allowed to go in a corner by himself. Coach Scott says this on a video I have. He can come in and go by himself and hit a heavy bag. That's what Aaron can come to the gym and do.
You're right. I remember him. Thanks for correcting that. I remember him saying that now, and he says like he can go. It's like one heavy bag that is not in the boxing gym. It's in the regular gym.
He goes to solitary heavy bag.
Right, and but I have when we went there, I told you where Aaron used to park when we were there, or when I would go with him. I did not see his car. We looked around. I didn't see his car. There was no expectation that he would be there. And like you said earlier, when we went to Stoney's, Aaron was in jail. Where there was no idea that Aaron was going to show up at Stoney's. So I'm not sure what businesses I have gone to in hopes that he's there. I've never gone to a business and said, "Hey, is Aaron here? Like, can I find him?" or anything like that. Like that is. I don't go to St. Cloud. Like, I don't go there unless I'm taking my family to a slightly nicer dinner than you can get down here in Spicer. So,
and by the way,
roller skating.
By the way, if he was at Stoney's when you showed up, he'd have to leave.
No, he wouldn't. He doesn't have a restraining order against me, and I don't have one against him.
No, but Kayla was with us, so he would have to leave.
Yeah, right. But if he was there, we would have left. Like that, we
right,
would
but
have
we
said,
we
you know
just
what?
knew for a fact that he wasn't because he happened to be in custody at that time. Like there was no physical way. You'd have to bend time and space for him to bail out and be at Stoney's while we were there. We were there maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were not there long at all. And so all of this is, of course, ludicrous. And it will... The way Minnesota does it is they just want to make sure that people are protected to the maximum. So they're very broad in their issuance of ex parte orders. And the reasoning that they come to is like, well, yeah, but they can come and if they really believe like that it's wrong, they can come and fight it. But otherwise, like, who cares if we keep them away from someone, you know? And that's what they've done here. I don't think the judge did anything wrong. I think that his accusations won't hold up under scrutiny. But the judge gets one side of the story, and they're asked to, read it broadly and favorably for the person asking for the petition, and then the respondent has an easy and expedited process to respond. So that's what I intend to do.
I'm gonna need somebody to make the Spider-Man meme where the three of them are pointing at each other, but put you, Kayla, and his face on it inside Stoney's. You have to leave. No, but technically you have to leave. But also, like, she's here, so you need to leave. I need that.
You get out. No, you get out. But the only evidence that he seems to specifically cite is, well, he mentioned me being on your show on the 25th, but the other one is this text from 4/11/24. He says he made a message to me on the app Signal telling me to kill myself because I refused to come over to his house, which is not quite accurate. I wonder what that message says specifically.
Well, and on the show on Wednesday, what you said was you initially said, if you're going to contact him, don't send clips and timestamps of his actual show. And then you clarified it. As a matter of fact, don't even send clips. Just don't send clips.
Yeah, correct. And that was because, that's what's been relayed to me as the best way to provide information to them. And reporting, like, I don't encourage people to report anything. Like, they're going to do it. That's on them.
I do. If he violates, you should report it. I say that. That's me saying that.
But that's just my general stance on this stuff. But that being said, if people are going to do it, they should do it properly. But I also can ask people to report a crime. Like, you can ask people to do that. It is a privileged thing. Police reports are privileged from defamation and stuff, unless you knowingly make false statements, unless you're trying to falsify something to a peace officer or to the court. That would be something you can't do. But saying, hey, if you guys see a crime, report it. The government does that every day. Right? Like see something, say something. They have whole campaigns on it. So to suggest that someone can't say, hey, make legal or make truthful reports to the police is absurd. So I typically don't do that. But even if I did, it would be perfectly fine.
All right. Thanks for the update. We're anything else we need to know?
Not really. I was dumbstruck and dumbfounded to get this. I was just like, he says,
I just assume one's coming for me now. Moody was like, you need to hurry up and play all the videos you got in Minnesota because he might silence you soon. And it's like, even if he files this, it's going to be insane.
Okay, so real quick, just kind of the legal breakdown of how this works. They have to use the least restrictive means if it involves a prior restraint on speech. They have to use the least restrictive means to achieve the purpose. So the likelihood of you being prevented from speaking about him is exceedingly low. Like, because you've never threatened him, to my knowledge, or anything like that, other than with, maybe some sort of legal or protected action. You may have said something like that. I don't catalog everything, but to my knowledge, you haven't said, I'm going to come, kill you or whatever, or anything like that. And so there shouldn't be any prior restraint on speech. So to issue a restraining order against you, when you live in a completely different state and have almost zero likelihood of being around him, and asking your state, I guess, to enforce it. The only other thing they could do is hold on to the restraining order request. And if you ever entered Minnesota again, they could serve you here and be like, now don't fuck around.
Right. But it's again, I'm allowed to attend a court hearing for I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm allowed to go fucking ask people questions, and they're allowed to kick me out of their private establishments. I asked both Scott, I asked everybody everywhere I went, if you want me to leave, one of the first things I said to Stoney's when I got there, if you want me to leave, let me know. He's like, I don't care you're here. Okay.
Yeah, and that's I witnessed all that, of course, at the places that I was. You went to some places that I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to go. That I chose not to go to, which is fine. And so I can't say what happened there. But every place that I saw you walk into, you were extremely cordial. You asked permission. And if the one time Stoney's where he asked you to leave and then asked everybody to leave, we all just left. Like, who cares?
The only place that told me not to. The only place that told me not to record was Wapakata Golf Club, and I immediately hit record, and I started recording.
He says, so this is amazing. He says, respondent used the victim's personal information without consent to invite, encourage, or solicit a third party to engage in a sexual act with the victim as follows. And it just has a date range of April 11th, 2024 to November 10th of 2024. Oh, he says that's when he says I accessed his Google account without authorization, divulged search histories and financial information on my ex account. If respondent deletes these tweets, I have them archived. Like, oh, okay.
Well, once the FBI gets a hold
I don't know
of
what financial information I divulged on there at all. Like, I don't remember doing any of that.
No, but again, this made him feel better to do. I think, again, he took a big L, and the only way he can face his audience and himself is for him to get a W. And this was his way of, again, retaliating and getting a W over you. For, again, something he did to Kayla, which is insane, which is nuts.
Right. But, and, the entire case, actually, I don't know if he realizes, like, how dumb this is. Because he's opened himself up to a ton of things that I can ask for. Now, that would be hard for me to ask for before.
I can't wait to watch it play out.
Like maybe who he's talked to about me and what he said in private messages about me and Kayla. And the judge may be interested in what comes out of a discovery request from this case.
I mean, is this a case?
It will be the moment I petition for the the restraining order to be vacated.
He's gonna lose another phone in the lake.
And I mean, I'm sure there are probably other YouTubers and stuff who are speaking behind the scenes and giving advice, and it'd be interesting to see like maybe what he said to close friends of his about a certain person. Maybe like Gino Bisconti and Keanu.
Gino will probably super chat in a minute and tell us.
So there's a lot that he's opened himself up to legally, and it looks like he filled this thing out on his own. It does not look like it was done by a lawyer, and I think that was probably ill-advised. Restraining orders.
Well, it doesn't mean he can't get one. The minute you challenge it, he can hire an attorney.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if he knows one who does these. Ashley's restraining order was clearly drafted by an attorney. It was very thorough, and he brought his attorney to that negotiation, got absolutely blown out of the water on it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe it'll be cold. That'll be funny.
All right.
Todd Peterson.
All right, Nick.
But anyway,
the chat's bored of you, and they want you to die, and they're telling me I'm sweeping, so I got to let you go.
Tweet me off the stream, man. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon.
Good night. Thanks for the information. Nick Rekieta, everybody. No, it is. Look, man, this this is an interesting turn. Nobody saw this one coming. This is out of left field. So it's gonna be interesting to watch this one play out.